What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. This is week 27 for WCW, April the 1st, 1996, April Fool's Day. This is the 30th episode for Nitro, but the 27th week they go at it with WWF Raw head-to-head. Nitro had their 3-week winning streak snapped by Raw since it was the night after WrestleMania this night. Raw gets a 2.9, Nitro just a 2.8, a close loss. So through 27 weeks now, including this week, Nitro's got 14 wins to the WWF's 11 and 2 draws. So a 14-11-2 rating for Nitro. That's not bad. It's better than WWF's rating. A record, obviously, is WWF are 11-14-2. Nitro is 14-11-2. So this Nitro with a 2.8 rating that lost just barely by 0.1 to the WWF's 2.9. It was commented by Steve McMichael, Eric Bischoff, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Heenan announces this will be his last Nitro he broadcasts. Nitro begins with no pyro and commentary from the trio, who has done all of the Nitros so far. This trio of McMichael, Bischoff, and Heenan. We just see Giant and Sting face to face in the ring. That's how the opening shot is. It's not a pyro. It's not the entrance theme. It's just them two standing in the ring with Bischoff talking about being live as live can get, and saying, we're here in Cleveland at the SCSU Convention Center. Bischoff says Jimmy Hart paid off the Giant, who was supposed to be his tag partner. Bischoff says, we're going to try and bring you footage. The real reason he did this, he started the show with these two men in the ring, is because he went on the air 3 minutes before Raw did. And he knew this was the night after WrestleMania, so he wanted to grab viewers right away and take them away from Raw. He wanted to make sure everyone was watching Nitro. And if everyone was watching Nitro, it would make less viewers turn the channel to Raw. So Bischoff tried to do that right away off the get-go. 3 minutes before Raw started, they did this, and they wanted to have Giant and Sting brawl, and they were brawling. So they didn't want entrance themes. They didn't want the fans to have a reason to turn the channel. They wanted, you want action? We're going to give you Sting and the Giant in the ring right now. No entrance themes, nothing. They go at it for a little bit. Giant grabs Sting by the throat and chokeslams him on the apron, but Sting catches a drop kick to the Giant, drop kicking him to the ground. Luger then comes by Sting's side, so they DQ the Giant just because Luger came to Sting's aid. And Luger showing that he has no allegiance with Jimmy Hart or the Giant, because Jimmy Hart's on the outside and Luger had been with Jimmy Hart a few weeks before this. So Jimmy Hart was with the Giant and Luger chose Sting over Jimmy Hart is basically what happened here. I rated it 3/4 of a star just because of the story that was interesting. I like how they tried something different to start Nitro. I thought it was a crafty move by Bischoff. It didn't work in the end because Raw won, but close 0.1. You got to think that if Bischoff didn't start Nitro this way, maybe it would have been a bigger loss for Nitro than 0.1. Maybe 2.5 would draw instead of 2.8. You never know, but Bischoff did a crafty move here, and then after this Sting Giant match that was very quick and ended up in a DQ, they did the Nitro theme, they did the pyro, all that. So they wanted to grab your attention 3 minutes before Raw went on the air with that trick. Next up, we have the Steiner Brothers versus the Nasty Boys versus the Road Warriors. All 6 men in a triangle tag team match. Rick Steiner started with Knobs, and whatever man is in there gets the pin. That's the team that wins. So you want to be at the team that's in the ring because you want to be the one that gets the win for your team. Scott Steiner with an impressive dropkick to get going. A big elbow by the Road Warriors, animal to Knobs. There was action all over the place in this match. Sometimes during the match, all 6 men would go at it, and the officials would lose control. Hawk then covered Steiner as Rick broke it up. Chaos everywhere in the ring. All 6 men battle on the outside. Scott Steiner Irish whips and a belly-to-belly suplex to Road Warrior Animal. Jerry Sags came in, and Scott was fast and vicious. Knobs was tagged in as the Nasty Team's double team Rick Steiner. All 6 men went at it, and Cleveland went wild as they were brawling on the outside of the ring. The Nasty Boys and the Road Warriors went crazy. The fans loved it. There was great action all throughout. The Nasties tossed Hawk into another corner. Rick breaks it up. Rick Steiner with a belly-to-belly suplex. In the end, what happened here was really interesting. Public Enemy weren't in this match. So one member of Public Enemy dressed like it was Johnny Grunge. He dressed like Brian Knobs. He had the shirt and everything with the hair. He dyed his hair, and he went into the ring, and the Steiners covered them for the victory because the Nasty Boys wanted the Steiners to win this match for whatever reason. But one of the Nasty Boys, or one of the Public Enemy, dressed as one of the Nasty Boys. The real Knobs was outside of the ring when the Steiner pin happened, but he went into the ring and let Steiner pin him. So I don't know if there's an allegiance between the Nasty Boys and Steiners, or maybe the Steiners faced the or Public Enemy rather. Public Enemy dressed up as the Nasty Boys, so it was easy to get confused. And there was a million tag teams in this match, so yeah, there's another reason to get confused. So 4 tag teams ended up being involved in this match. It's 8 guys to keep track of. It was just a great triangle match. I gave it 3 stars, with the Steiners winning because of the Public Enemy dressing as the Nasty Boys. Hulk Hogan and the Booty Man with the Booty Babe, that's Kimberly Page, that's the Booty Man's girl, Kimberly Page, and the Booty Man is Brutus Beefcake, versus Arn Anderson and Kevin Sullivan with Miss Elizabeth and Woman. I think Nancy was still Nancy Sullivan here. She was not Nancy Benoit. It was Nancy Sullivan here, Woman. She was still with Kevin, I believe, at the time because they didn't do the storyline yet with Benoit. But that's coming up. The Booty Man controlling the pace early, and he starts to strut out like Brutus Beefcake. Hogan from behind clotheslines Anderson to the floor. The Booty Man in the ring with Arn and Hogan. I hate having to call him the Booty Man, but that's what the commentary team calls him, and that's what I have to call him. Hogan, I just think is Brutus Beefcake is such a douche. Hogan and the Booty Man do a good job of double teaming Sullivan and Arn. A lot of tandem moves in this one. Hogan going after Arn and Sullivan. Hogan with the double boot. Some of the fans, they're getting tired of Hulkamania. Some of the booing Hogan. Hogan hits a shoe from the Booty Babe, and Hogan gets the fall. At 7:43, Hogan and the Booty Man are victorious after Woman and Liz aren't too happy with the Booty Babe as she gave her shoe to Hogan to hit Sullivan. And the boot drop and the leg drop, and Hogan and Booty Man are victorious. Nancy checks on Sullivan while Hogan and the Booty Man go back as winners. Arn and Sullivan double team the Booty Man after the match. So I can give that a 1.5 stars. Hogan cuts a promo and says, "Thank God for the Booty Babe, brother." The Booty Man then asks Hogan to trust him on a future match. He can't reveal what it is. He whispers in Hogan's ear, and Hogan goes... And the commentators are wondering, what match did the Booty Man make? And Hogan and the Booty Man on the microphone agreed to a new match coming up. But they didn't want to... Booty Man said, "I don't want to spoil my cards. I don't want to show my ace card," or whatever he said. He said, I don't want to show my cards right now, but we're going to agree to this match with me. And Hogan says, "Okay, brother." So they do it. And there's going to be a match in the future, apparently, and we're not allowed to know what kind of match it is yet. Ric Flair with Miss Elizabeth and Woman defends the world title against Lex Luger for the WCW Championship. Lex has been on a huge winning streak heading into this match. For whatever reason, he's the most protected, and I say whatever reason because this company has Hogan, Savage, Flair, Sting, and Luger seems to be the most protected, and especially knowing what Bischoff isn't the biggest fan of him. Luger and Flair do the same shtick that they did in the 80s NWA. The only difference is there's not as many ladies screaming for Ric Flair and for Lex Luger, rather. Luger was more of a tweener at the time, so a lot of his offense, a lot of his running shoulder blocks and clotheslines in this match weren't as well received as before. Lex with a backslide to Flair, a hip toss attempt failed. Luger throws Flair over the turnbuckle. He comes in with a clothesline. A lot of military presses in this match. A lot of running shoulder tackles by Luger to Flair. Flair begs as Luger keeps on him. Luger puts him in the torture rack, but Woman has a weapon, and the Woman came in with hot coffee and put it in Luger's eyes. So Flair gets the victory with his legs on the ropes to boot at 10:57 to retain the WCW title. The match was fair, average, nothing great, 2.5 stars. The show ends with Bischoff talking about Nitro starting off to its crazy start. Bischoff says it was chaos from the get-go with Giant and Sting, the triangle tag match. I rated this show 5.5 out of 10. It did have a good triangle tag match. Oh, and then Bobby Heenan says at the end of the show when he's retiring, he goes, "April Fools!" And he had me. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't retire. Was it a short retirement? But he says April Fools, so he got one over us. Anyways, Nitro with the loss this week, 2.9 to 2.8. They're 14-11-2 through 27 weeks. And I rated this Nitro a 5.5 out of 10. So we'll see you on the next Nitro. I'm Brett Mix for doing the Monday Night Wars. Hit like and subscribe, and I'm out.